Hello, my name's Matthew and I'm a curator in the exhibitions branch at the National Library. Today I want to talk a little bit about how we choose objects for display in the gallery, why we put them next to each other, because sometimes 1 + 1 = more than 2. Let me explain. I'm going to talk about two pictures of First Government House. There it is, in this watercolour by William Bradley. The second one is behind me and I'll talk about that in a little moment. So First Government House was the first permanent European built structure in the entire continent. Obviously there'd been, Indigenous people had been building shelters and had their own forms of constructions for thousands of years, but this was the first, I guess, British built structure that was meant to last and meant to stay, and it was supposed to be a symbol of power. They started to build it in 1788, it was completed the next year. This picture was done in around about 1791 by a naval officer and cartographer, William Bradley. Now Bradley wasn't an artist, he was a cartographer, so he was much more interested in detail and making a record of what he saw. There's the house, a very simple 6-room Georgian structure, some other buildings surrounding it. And in front of it, you can see a garden which is obviously being cleared to grow crops. And it's surrounded by this very humble fence, which wouldn't keep out anything, I would say, but there's a fence there nevertheless. But when you look at this picture and a lot of pictures of the First Government House, you get a sense of how tenuous the foothold this settlement had where it was, because you've just got the water there, then behind it, in this line of uncleared trees, is the beginning of the vast continent of Australia. Okay. So this is the second picture of Government House, which was painted by Augustus Earle about 25, 27 years later. Straight away, we can see there's a difference in the house itself. There's been extensions, obviously the governor required more room and the house became bigger. But I think there's a lot of other information in this picture that's very interesting and tells us a lot about the development of the town and the lifestyles of the people that live there. Straight away, you can see the city of Sydney in the background and the windmills. So this Government House feels more like it's part of an established community, not an isolated building on the edge of a continent. The garden is not being used for food anymore. It's being used for pleasure. It's a picturesque English-style garden. So it's already telling us that these people at this particular time, they have time to indulge in leisure pursuits. But the other interesting thing about it that's not really apparent from the images themselves is that Earle was actually a professional artist, Bradley was not. And it's starting to tell us that professional artists were coming to the colony and that there was an art scene that was beginning to get established. Certainly at this stage it was very difficult to make a living from painting, but the art scene in the colony was well on the way to becoming more established. So I'm hoping that by showing you how these two pictures work together, that you get more of an understanding of why we like to put certain works next to each other in the gallery, because we're hoping that as visitors you'll be able to come in and make the same connections yourself between the fantastic items from our collection that we display in our galleries.